boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm ForClassic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in it is Yakuza 3 Remastered, a game developed by Ryoga Studio and ported by Kivok to the PC. So Yakuza 3 was developed still using the old engine, not the Dragon engine, which is the most recent engine from the developers behind Yakuza, and this remaster continues to do so. Alright, so initially this game was released for PS3, the original version, you know, in 2009, but then this got remastered and bundled up with 3 titles, which was Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5 for PS4, but now finally it is available for the Xbox and also the PC. And I decided to give it a try. I decided to start with the oldest one, which is this one, the Yakuza 3 Remastered. I decided to start to give it a try and see how it runs on our MX130, which is equivalent to a GT 940 MX, using all these using GDDR5. Keep a note on that, because there is a huge difference in performance between a GDDR5 graphic card and the DDR3. So let me show you off the settings that I'm actually playing the game. Alright, so graphical options. I'm playing the game at 900p and I'm using 30 frames per second walk to 30. You might be asking, but why? So if I walk the game at 60 frames per second, what really happens is it runs in slow motion. So it means that in this specific game, you need to have the exact same frame that you are trying to targeting, because I'm getting in here 33 frames per second, but with the game set to 60, I just run at slow motion, which means that I need to have 60 frames per second in order to play it decently. So since I don't have it with 900p and high settings, I just decided to roll it back to 30 frames per second. So this is the minimum requirements and recommended for the game. So the minimum they ask for a GTX 560 or an AMD Radeon AG 6870, and for the recommended the typical GTX 660, which is obviously more stronger than our graphic card. And this is the results for 720p. So 720p low settings with textures on high, I was able to walk the game at 60 frames per second, although for medium or high settings, I was able to get at 30 frames per second, above 30 frames per second, and 720p ultra settings, it was having drops below 30. 900p, both medium and high settings provided an experience above 30 frames per second. 900p ultra settings, it was obviously below 30. So that's about it. And I also decided to try 1080p, and 1080p at medium settings provides an experience above 30, but 1080p as high settings, it is just dropping below 30. So this might sound a little bit confusing all of a sudden, but I will just wrap all these results together for you to have a better idea of what you can expect. So if you want to target 60 frames per second, you want to go with 720p low settings. You can actually use textures on high if you want. But if you want to target 30 frames per second, you can play at 1080p median, 900p median or 900p high, or 720p high settings or median. Alright, all these settings can provide you at 30 frames per second. Alright, what you can't have is playing at 720p ultra. It is not possible because it will drop below 30 frames per second. 900p ultra, logically it will also drop below 30 frames per second, and 1080p high and 1080p ultra will also drop under 30 frames per second. So you can use any setting that you want as long as you don't go with these 3. Then it's up to you to decide if you want to walk your game to 30 or you want to walk your game to 60. So like I said, if you want 60, you need to play at 720p low. If you want to play at 30, you can select any of those options that I did told to you. And that's all that you can expect from the performance of Yakuza 3 Remastered. The good news about it is that this game runs perfectly at 30 frames per second, so I don't really think that it will get in the way of your gameplay. I also do strongly recommend you to play this on a gamepad. It feels much more natural, if you ask me. And well, that's all the suggestions that I have to give you. But now let's talk a little bit about the game, shall we? Well, Yakuza 3 follows pretty much the gameplay of the predecessor, so it's pretty much the same thing. It was released in 2009 originally for the PS3, but now we got this remastered version, which is available for the PS4, PC, and also now Xbox. So the good thing about it is that we finally have nearly all the Yakuzas on the PC, and it's nice to finally have these old games that I don't know, many people might have a PS3 before and decide to sell it and buy a PS4 or buy a PC or anything like it. And if you are one of the guys that are missing those games, it is nice to have them in the PC and at a great price. So for example, if you want to buy Yakuza 3 solely, I mean only the Yakuza 3, you can go to Steam and buy the game for 20 euros. So I don't think it is expensive given the experience that Yakuza grants us. But if you want to buy a full package with the Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5, which is the complete remastered collection, which are 3 games, so it's on sale on Steam for around 40 euros. So it's like you pay for 2 games and you receive 3, because if you are going to play standalone Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5, you will pay about $60 or 6 euros, because it's 20 euros each one of them. But if you pick up the pack containing Yakuza 3, 4 and 5, you will be only paying 40. Or better deal ever, if you have Xbox Game Pass, I will let you know that you now have the Yakuza collection available there, which means that if you are a Xbox Game Pass subscriber, you have now access to the games and you can install Yakuza collection, which again includes Yakuza 3, 4 and 5. Yakuza 6, I think it will be debuted to the PC later this year. I'm not 100% sure about it, but I think yes. And when that happens, I think we will have the full collection of Yakuza. There is still other games missing, like not inside the Yakuza series, but it is developed by the same developer team, which is the Judgment. It's a game that I want to also see on the PC, coming from the same developer team. But for now, reaching the end of this year and having the entire collection of Yakuza on PC, I think it's a great deal. And for people that love this type of game, you should really go for it. And in case you don't know what type of game this is an open world game which contains tons and tons of conversation. Alright, it's that type of Japanese game where you talk a lot and go and do weird fetch quests. It's goofy, it's very goofy, alright. And it is a brawler and contains tons of mini quests and mini games, and that's why Yakuza is well known, because it just contains so much stuff, weird stuff inside the game, that it makes it funny. So, and contains all the typical anime Japanese goofiness stuff on the talk. You know, it's very Japanese title, alright, and it is also the main thing in combat in this game. It is being a brawler, alright. So you just evolve your character and you get into yourself inside into these brawling events where you need to fight multiple enemies at the same time. In this video you will be only seeing me fighting this one, but you can see that I can pick up anything like bicycles, tables and chairs and hit them up. So since I've never finished or even played decently Yakuza before, I don't really know how to fight decently. I'm pretty sure there are tons of tricks that I can use, but unfortunately on this video I just tried to beat the guy and I didn't knew too much how I could perform those nice tricks, so I'm sorry for that. So guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about Yakuza 3. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
どうだ、内地の腰抜けのおっさんのパンチは痛かったか？約束だ。お前の親父のところに案内してもらおうか。
はい、わかりました。
ええ。
こちらです。どうぞ。今親父を呼んできます。少しお待ちください。
おう、待たせたな、客人。あんたが桐生さんか。うちの力也が可愛がってもらったようだな。
あんたに話があってきた。
ああ、立ち退きの件だろ。
そうだ。どうして俺らが立ち退かなきゃならないのか、訳が知りたい。
さき。おいさき。ちょっとこのおじちゃんと話があるんだ。部屋に戻っててもらえるかな。